Oh, not sure what I let out there. Well, there you are. Been waiting for you. We're going to stretch canvas today, right? So let me wash these brushes and I'll be right with you. I'll meet you over in the workroom there where all the paintings are piled up. Hi, I'm Tom Baker. Not the one who goes into the telephone booths and shoots off into outer space. That's Doctor Who. He's British. I'm from the colonies. I'm an American. I'm the Tom Baker who's mixed up in archaeology and art history and now painting, like this. So how does a guy trained in archaeology end up doing oil paintings? Well, it comes from the hands-on approach to the study of history. For instance, when I was studying aviation history, instead of just reading about it, I actually built 2 historic aircraft using the original blueprints. I built every little piece of those airplanes, and I even carved the propellers. And I can tell you, when you get lifted up into the sky by an airplane that you built with your own hands, it's really quite a thrill. By the end of that project, I had a commercial pilot's license, and then I took up aerial archaeology and flew to a number of remote locations in the American Southwest and Mexico to do archaeological photography and survey. And I still do that, and I have a website for it. If you do a search on the words aerial archaeology and Baker, you'll pull that site up. After the aviation project, I decided to do something else that I'd always wanted to do because I've always enjoyed sketching and drawing. I decided to try to trace the history of painting in Western civilization, starting with the earliest known examples in the caves of Europe, right on through the classical civilizations and on down through the Renaissance to the present day. And just like with the aviation project, I wanted to do it hands-on. So I decided to reproduce, to replicate as much of this art as I could, hoping to understand a little better how it was done, and I was also hoping that I could gain some skill at painting myself. And I'm happy to report that I was successful in learning to paint by this method. A few years into this project, I was actually able to begin painting portraits and original works of art in the style of the old-time painters that I'd been studying. Now, I know how anxious you must be to delve right into the wild excitement of canvas stretching immediately, but if you'll humor me for a few minutes, I can take you on a tour of the history of painting by means of some of these historic and prehistoric paintings that I've replicated. This is a painting from the cave of Lascaux in France, and this is the first painted representation of a human being that I know of. He's only a stick figure, but he is a man, or was a man about 17,000 years ago. The artist here is telling us about a bison hunt that went very wrong. Starting with stick figures like that, human beings in ancient art became sort of silhouettes. This one is from North Africa. And you can see here that the artist had a very good understanding of human anatomy. Look at the gracefully shaped limbs on these people. Those 2 women appear to be arguing, don't they? This society had progressed from hunting animals, as was shown in the last painting, to domesticating and herding them as we see here. Then, about 3,500 years ago, while the Greeks were still pretty much barbarians, the Minoans were painting beautiful things like this on the walls of their homes. These lovely ladies were part of the magnificent Minoan civilization, centered on the island of Crete, and all the smaller islands around Crete contained Minoan colonies. These paintings were painted on the island of Thera between the Greek mainland and Crete. Thera was destroyed in 1650 BC by a tremendous volcanic blast that erased the island pretty much and just left a water-filled crater. These paintings were shattered, but they're now being found and put back together like big jigsaw puzzles. Here's another one showing a girl gathering saffron. You can only hope that these people got off their island before the volcanic blast destroyed it, but we'll never know.